What's up, everyone? This is a type of content I've been tinkering with for a long time, trying to do a film review where I break down basically a match on the Beach Pro Tour. And we had a ton of snow in Tallahassee, and so we had a snow day, and a little club team, high school club team that Nick Lucena and Brooke Niles coach, they couldn't go to practice because we had our courts were completely covered in snow. Brooke was out recruiting, Nick had his kids, and so I was going to sub in for the week. There was no practice, and so what we did was we ended up going on Zoom and breaking down film of Kelly Cheng and Sara Hughes, their Olympic quarterfinal match against Switzerland's Nina Brunner and Tanja Huberli. Nina's one of my favorite defenders in the world. She's actually pregnant right now, so congratulations to her. And we just broke it down. So I just explained what was happening on every play, what I liked, what I thought could be fixed. And it was just a kind of a film review with these high school young women. And I just decided to put it up. And I think it's a type of content I want to do moving forward. And so it's just sort of experimental. Just want to see if you guys enjoy it, want to see if you guys want more of it. And if so, we'll try to do these film reviews. I always loved when Kobe Bryant and Peyton Manning did what their show was called Detail, where Kobe would get super in detail about certain things. And I loved watching that, watching him break down, say, Jason Tatum on offense, and love how Peyton Manning did that show on the football side of things. And so this could be something moving forward, maybe not. As beginning of every year, we tinker, we experiment with stuff. So hopefully you enjoy it, and let me know what you think moving forward, if this is something you would get more of. Shoots, thank you, as always. And so we're going to watch this whole play again, and we're going to break down so many different elements. There's that option play. So I want to start one with the serve from Sara. And so this is a really simple, easy to execute line-to-line serve. And so she puts this within a foot of the line. That's awesome. And that makes Tanja go all the way out to the pin. And that's one of the benefits of a line-to-line serve, is that generally when you serve someone line-to-line, you're either picking on their ability, one, or inability not to pass on their left side shoulder, which is something that Tanja can struggle with at times, and then something that others like Taryn Cloth, she gets picked on with her left shoulder. Therese Cannon gets picked on with her left shoulder. But the other benefit is that it pinches that attacker so that they are going to be forced to attack from that area by the pin. So that's what the defense is setting up. Now watch the timing on this defensive move from Sara and Kelly. So everything that Tanja is looking at right now at her last look is Kelly was sitting in the line and Sara's in the angle. So right there, what she's seeing is a straight up line defense, and that the last second, so as soon as Tanja takes her eyes off of the defense, they move. And Kelly, it's more of a lateral move with her arms. Sara goes back, perfect balanced defensive move. And then on the other side, watch how balanced Nina is right here. She's so balanced and square where if Sara were to hit a cut shot, which is kind of her patented move, she's able to make that cut and go into that angle. But here she goes high line. Nina, super balanced, super still, digs a really nice cut shot. And then here, Kelly kicks out for this option. So she gives Sara the space to send it all the way out here. And then now watch when Sara passes that, she's going to be going this way, which is going to force Tanja to make a decision either to honor the option of Kelly or to run over to Sara. So if she respects the option of Kelly, Sara's going to have an open net. And if she doesn't respect the option, then Kelly's going to have an open net. And that's what makes this so deadly. So look, Tanja is now running back to chase Sara. Kelly has an easy on two attack and right away. And that's what we're working on a lot at Florida State, is that sort of kick out move that Kelly did and spreading it. And so Kelly, she took that pass kind of right in here. And then Sara was running all the way out here. And so if you do, I don't know if you guys do the number system along the net, but you have, this is the 1 area, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so Sara passes it to the 2 for Kelly to option, and she's attacking from the 5. And as you saw, as a blocker, it's impossible to defend. And that's what makes it such an easy attack for Kelly. And so Sara does a nice job here, right? So she starts her serve the exact same. She opened up with a line to line, and she's going to get Tanja sort of thinking another line to line's coming. Then any deep middle serve is just nasty. And I mean, watch how much this drops. It goes from her shoulder down to her knee in a second. So service pressure is something that travels. It's invaluable to have. So again, she goes back to the line to line. Better pass from Tanja. And this time it looks like Kelly makes a read into the angle. What I love about Kelly is how dynamic her moves are. And so she almost always lines up square with the hitter. And then this is a move outside the body with the arms. So watch how her body kind of stays still, but her arms move. Arms go way outside the body. It looks like kind of a double up into the angle. Good read by Tanja. Another line to angle seam serve. Twice we've seen it now. Twice we've seen an ace. Really nice serve there by Nina. Another angle to middle. I love that serve, even though she misses it. It's nice and flat. It's fast. And again, it's forcing Kelly to pinch into that seam. I like the idea of going deep. I'm gonna let Callie in real quick. Callie, welcome. And so again, so we're seeing the strategy from Switzerland right now where they're attacking Kelly's seam, right? So Nina attacked it from this angle into the seam. Tanja's going to attack it from this angle into the seam. And what that does is because the on-two is such a threat, one of the easiest ways to negate that is to serve into the seam because it makes that kick out from Kelly. If Sara passes it, she's got to go all the way out here. And so if you guys are playing a team who's optioning a lot, one of the best ways to cut it down is to serve angle to seam and angle to seam and middle to middle. So again, angle seam, Kelly way off the net, a little bit out of system. Nina, again, watch how balanced she is. She's so square and still. So again, if cut shot's there, she can make the move. If a line shot's there, she can make it. And Kelly hits a really below average chop into the seam. And Nina makes it nice and calm and still. Open net swing. Great dig from Sara. And then look at this block from Tanja. So she's lined up in the line really square. And then this is just a pure read from Tanja. Watch how far outside her body her arms go. So she jumps up straight and her arms go this way in a really firm press. That's a great move with the right. And a clutch block to have in transition, too. Again, angle to seam. She misses it. And that's something that the Swiss team does a lot. So earlier in the year, that was kind of their big Achilles heel, where I think they missed 15 serves in one match against Kelly and Sara in the quarterfinals of the season opening event in Doha. And that's just what they live and die on. They serve super aggressive. And I think that that's okay to kind of live and die on aggressive serving because already we've seen them have two aces. But again, strategy angle to middle on Kelly right now. Again, perfect timing on this move from Kelly and Sara. When Tanja, she gets her last look, she sees Kelly in the line, she sees Sara in the angle, then Sara makes her move. She can dig the high line if it was in bounds, it's out of bounds. And again, so it's we call this disruption at Florida State, where the disruption is you see one thing, and then at the last second, the defense switches and it's disrupting what your pattern recognition on offense. And so they're doing a great job of waiting till the last second and then making their moves. Again, back to the line on Tanja. This time they stay put. Nice shot from Tanja. Would you look at what we have again? Another angle to deep middle going at Kelly's seam. Again, this takes away any threat of an option. And again, Kelly out of system has to go all the way out here. And then look at this move at the net from Tanja. Watch that big step here. So this is another way to disrupt is taking it as a blocker. You can line up square and take that big step into the angle that Tanja's taking. And then Nina is going to do the exact opposite. And so Tanja jumping back into the line. And then Nina, nice and balanced and square, makes a phenomenal dig on this. Gets her feet there. Watch her feet on this approach. Gets them all the way there, feet to ball. So a lot of times younger, more inexperienced players will just do a 1 foot kind of slide approach. It's called an indoor. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves that we have on these out of system. But Nina has that big, powerful step close, able to get the full height and go over Kelly. That's a really good defensive play. From, in my mind, this Swiss team is the best defensive team in the world. All due respect to Taryn and Kristen. Again, angle to seam on Kelly, on two threats, gone. And again, this is the opposite disruption from Tanja. So last time she took that big step into the angle and then jumped back into the line. This time she's lining up square and just taking a big move into the angle and taking it away. And then Nina behind her is doing the opposite. So she's making that late move into the line. And we've seen that move from Kelly and Sara twice already. So you can see how effective these late moves are against world-class teams. And that's 2 blocks already from Tanja. Again, angle to seam. Again, no option threat. And so here Tanja gets that big step this way, and watch what she does in the air. She goes back that way. And I think that Nina, she just audibles here and doubles up into the angle. But Tanja makes that big move back into the line. So Tanya's doing a nice job of disrupting Kelly's pattern recognition and vision on defense. Kelly again going angle to angle, like that aggressive serve. And so we've now seen it. We're 14 points in, and Switzerland has hit the same exact serve every time. It's angle to seam, angle to seam. And Kelly's been a little bit out of sorts every time and hasn't been able to option. Awesome disruptive move from Tanja. So she's lined up big into the angle and she's going to jump back into the line. And so Switzerland's really mixing up their calls on defense, especially Tanja. So she's giving Kelly all sorts of different looks. And in the background, Nina's just basically holding square in the angle and trusting her balance and speed on defense to make plays like this little reaction play where she's so balanced, where she's able to make that change of direction and almost make a play out of it. It's a really good touch from Switzerland. That's a really nice high swing. What a play from Sara. And this again is this spread. So watch Nina right here. So she sees it's going to Tanja. She gets all the way back and presents an option threat. And watch how far Tanja spreads this over the net. So again, this is the 5 area. This is the 4. She's going to send it to the outer edge of a 3. And that's going to either force Kelly to get there quick or to stay with Tanja. And that gives Nina this opportunity. Nice fast arm swing, pretty much open net because there's no way Kelly's blocking that. So it's just Nina versus Sara, and Nina's going to win that every time. It's a great play from Switzerland. Again, angle to angle on Kelly, no option. Big swing down the seam. Perfect play from the US. And that is a wicked serve. So again, the two most successful serves we've seen from Sara and Kelly are these line to lines. Remember that ace that we had at the start from Sara, and now here you have Kelly throwing their first serve at Nina. And I like this because Nina's sort of pinching in the middle to help out Tanja, who's been the target of serve receive for the first 17 points. And so now Kelly's kind of taking the bait here and going at Nina, who does a nice job kind of fending that off, puts a perfect platform on it, but it's way out of system. Now Kelly makes a great read. So again, Kelly pretty lined up into the angle here. She can still throw that left hand into the line, but she's going to double up and watch how far into the angle she is. And meanwhile, Sara's shifting in behind her. Great block, great cover. And I don't know if Kelly got a piece of that. So Kelly had a touch on that. So that's a really nice high swing from Tanja. So covering is also important. If you set and it's a little bit tight, make sure that you're covering your partner. They will thank you for it. Nice shot there from Cal. What I really like about Switzerland is that a lot of times when you get 18 points into a match, you're tempted to change your strategy, even if it's working. A lot of times we just get a little bit bored. I used to do that all the time. I'd be like, well, we're 18 points in, let's mix it up. But if it's working, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing. And Switzerland, it's not broke, and they're just sticking with their game plan of going angle to seam and just limiting Kelly's option threats. And even though she's in system, you're still taking away their most dangerous attack, which is the on two. Again, hunting down that left shoulder of Tanja makes a really nice pass. Now she's seen this move a couple times already, and so she's ready for it. Where Kelly lined up in the line, Sarah's making that late move into the angle. This is the third time they've run that play, and so Tanya's making her adjustment. And you'll hear the phrase a lot if you guys watch on VBTV or if you watch AVP on YouTube or wherever it may be now, you'll hear that volleyball is a game of chess. And so we've seen now kind of the first counter move from Switzerland where they're like, all right, I've seen this setup before. I'm not going to be baited into the high line that Sarah's dug twice, and I'm not going to be baited into the low angle swing that Kelly's trying to take away. So I'm just going to lob a nice little high chop shot into that angle over Kelly, and that's indefensible given that defense. And that is a nasty serve. My goodness. And so, Nina, what I like about this, so Nick, he's big. I don't know if you guys have worked a lot on serving with Nick, but we work with our girls a lot at Florida State. It's called an out of flow serve. And so Nina is going to approach from her, it's left to right. For Sara and Kelly, it's right to left. And then she's going to crack it back down that left side or down Sarah's sideline. And this is a really nice little mix up because Kelly had been in system a little bit. She'd sided out a couple times in a row. And so let's try to surprise Sara with a serve down the line. And so watch, she starts from here, goes diagonal here, and then cracks it back to the line, kind of cross body, thumbs up. And I mean, that's going to score pretty much every time. So that's three aces now for Switzerland just at the technical timeout. And the world class standard that you shoot for is 1.5 aces per set. And so already they've doubled that number and they're only halfway through. So they're going at Sara now, sticking with that kind of angle to middle, which again negates the option threat. Halfway through set number one, we haven't seen Kelly's best attack, which is the option. Nice shot from Sara. I like this angle defense setup. So a lot of times when we call an angle block, we feel like we're too far into the angle, but this is perfect from Tanja. So you have that left hand on the ball, right hand's taking the extreme cut, and Sara just hits a great shot. And great offense beats great defense. And that's where Switzerland, they're just going to shrug their shoulders and give it to her because at a later moment in this match, they can then call a disruptive move where instead of Tanja staying into the angle, she can then jump back into the line and they can bait Sara into hitting that exact cut shot. And so a lot of those big angle blocks or even line blocks, they're just called setup plays where you give it up and give it up. And then at the right time, around 15-13, 18-17, 19-16, that's when you call a play to take it away. So first serve we've seen go at Nina, kind of a double up into the angle here. So it's tough because we don't know what the play call was. Watch Kelly is big, big into the angle, and Sara just kind of holds angle, and that's what a lot of great defensive teams do. And this is where team chemistry comes into play, where you trust your defender to make a read behind you with whatever they see. And so whatever gave Sara the information to stay, I'm not sure what it was, but she just stays there, makes a nice casual dig, goes a little bit over. And then Nina, again, we've seen this play a couple times. So Tanja gets this free ball. And watch Nina. She backs all the way up, gives herself an approach. So Tanya's at the two area, and she's going to sling this all the way over to the four. And again, Kelly then has to make a decision. Do I have to get all the way over and make that play, or do I stick with Tanja? And so watch, she slings it all the way over, open net, easy play. Thank you very much. Great play from Switzerland. Again, angle to middle. This will be ace number four for Switzerland. And so I think 24 points in, I would say that's the biggest takeaway so far is that an angle to deep middle serve is very effective. Again, angle, middle, misses, but at this point, miss the risk is worth the reward. I think they've missed two or three to go along with four aces. And so I'm totally cool with that miss. Sara now going with the angle to middle, just misses. Again, I'm cool with aggressive misses and serves. Another angle to middle. What I love here, watch Kelly. We call this a C route in setting. So Kelly's going to make kind of a C, and that's going to open up the option. Watch her open up. It's not coming to me. She kicks out, and so then that's what makes her such a threat on two. Because if Sara passes anywhere in between them, Kelly's going to be able to option that. Instead, she gives Sara the set. It's perfectly in system. Beautiful shot from Sara. Another angle to middle. Tanja handles it well. And what a read from Kelly. So again, this is the disruption. We work with our blockers a ton on this exact move. And so watch. Tanja, at the moment, she sees Kelly blocking line, sees Sara shifting into the angle, and all this room is wide open. She thinks that little baby line shot is wide open. And then Kelly, at the last second, she's so smart, just backpedals in, makes a perfect dig, and then a nice swing and transition. But it's this move right here at the net. Watch how late she is. Pulls into the exact shot, makes a nice, calm, high dig, gives herself an approach. Watch how Kelly backs up now. A lot of us would just pass and stop right here. She backs all the way up beyond the 10-foot line, gives herself a full approach so she can get the power on this to beat Nina. Another angle to middle. Another pull from Kelly. That's the right pull. And I love this swing from Tanja. High, deep angle, and she misses by an inch, maybe 2 inches. So that's a big, big point for the US there. Again, we've seen this move a couple times from the US where Kelly's in this big line, Sara's in the angle, and then at the last second, Sara's going line, Kelly's going angle, and they almost get this block. And the only reason that they don't is because watch how high Tanja hits that. She's playing, so the women's net is 7 feet 4 inches. She's probably hitting that at about 8.5. Had she brought that any lower, that's going to be a block for Kelly. Instead, she stays nice and high, beats the defense. But again, the timing on the US, that's the swing that you're baiting when you run. We call it a four. A lot of the girls at Florida State call that one a two. But when you run that play, that late angle dive from the blocker and the late line move from the defender, you're baiting them into hitting the high line and a low angle swing. And so Kelly and Sara got Tanja to hit the swing they wanted. She just made it higher. Again, sticking on the seam of Kelly. Oh, wow. What a play. So this is where balance comes in handy. I don't know if you can teach this one. This is just where having a lot of reps. So look how balanced she is, and she's just going to have a slight lean into the seam, and then you see that touch from Tanja, and then watch this kick save. That's awesome. Almost as awesome. Now I want you to watch this guy right here. This reaction's perfect. He can't believe it. That's pretty much what I did too. And then the over on one. That's why Nina Brunner is one of the best in the business. Kick save, over on one. Awesome. And again, this is the balance from Nina. At point of contact, super balanced, super still, able to get that change of direction. Doesn't make the play, but your job as a defender is to limit first ball side out. She does that again. And then what a turn from Tanja. Somehow makes this play. Can't get it. Point US. Another good defensive rally for Switzerland. Another high swing from Tanja. And so Tanja's adjustments in where she's done hitting high lines. That's been taken away a couple times. And so she's just ripping high angle, high angle, high angle until the United States stops it. Little mix up. I like it. Going back at Sara's line. That's where Nina got the ace earlier. Sara nails it. Good composure. And this is a play that we're working on again at Florida State. So watch Tanja's setting route. Watch how she holds right here. A lot of times as setters, we start drifting in towards our passer, and that doesn't give us room to option. But Tanja stays out by this four area, right? And that gives Nina the room to push it out this way. Perfect feet to ball, perfect step close, pretty much an open net option. Awesome play from Switzerland. That's how you negate the threat of a short serve.
Is that like the stack play?
What do you mean stack?
The one where like the the setter and the hitter like line up and you can either go like front or back, like the A and B.
Yeah, so the stack play, so it would be if Nina were to come over. Yeah, so if Nina was coming here and she'd stack and then either run a quick in front or quick behind. I think what she's
Hmm.
doing is coming into cover if there were a cover available. But
Okay.
that is a play that you run a lot where your right sider will come all the way in this way and can either run a quick back or quick in front, and that makes the blocker guess. It's a good question.
Hmm. Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So they've found something going at Kelly's line. And so again, that left shoulder, a lot of times, so if you guys are ever playing big blockers and they're right-handed and they play on the left side, I promise you, you're gonna have success pinning it at their high left shoulder. It goes for Kelly Cheng, Tanja, Taryn Cloth, Anna Patricia, across the board. I don't know what it is. Big blockers just don't like passing to that high, deep left shoulder, and that's ace number 5 for Switzerland. So again, all going from either angle to middle or angle at Kelly's left shoulder. Little middle here from Sara. Ace number 2 for her. Set point number 2. Tanja again, high deep angle, hasn't been stopped, not changing. All right, so we're halfway through. That's the end of set number 1. I want 3 big takeaways. Meg, I'm gonna call on you. Let's start with you. What is one big takeaway you had from that first set?
Like the angle to middle serve, like
Yep.
how Switzerland, like also with like the serving disruptions, like Kelly never really seemed like she was like in a rhythm of like siding out.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And one thing that I noticed as well, did you notice that all those serves were deep middle? There were
Yes.
no serves that were just at her waist or midline. She had to stay deep for all of them. And a lot of times, I think that a short serve is one of the most effective and underrated weapons in beach volleyball, but probably not against teams who option a ton. And so
Mm-hmm.
Kelly's struggling with those deep serves. And so they just stuck with those high, deep seams. So good one there, Meg. Christy, any big takeaways?
I liked I know it's kind of something small, but with that was like if you have a plan that's working, you don't have to like change it up. It might be boring, but like if it's working, stick with your plan.
Yeah, yeah, no need to change if it's working. And I remember chatting with Misty May about this, and she said that a lot of times beach volleyball players, and she was talking about how players mostly get bored on offense, where if they had success on a high line, on the next
Hmm.
play they'll just go away from it. And she called those A-B players, where if A works, then I'm going to B, and if B, then I go back to A. And she said, look, if a high line's scoring, I will hit 21 high lines in a row until they take it away. And that's what we're starting to see from Tanja, right? So she hasn't
Hmm.
changed her attack from that high deep angle swing because the United States hasn't proven that they can take it away yet. And so if it ain't broke, no need to fix it. I like that one.
Yeah.
And let's see, one more takeaway. I'll let you guys, someone pop in. If not, then I'll just call on someone.
May I go?
Yes, you can. I would love to hear from you, Natalie.
I just thought that the staying like really balanced on defense and kind of in the place where you could make a move towards either, I thought made a big difference for them to pick up more balls.
Yes.
I think it was the girls in white doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a hallmark of Nina Brunner's defense and also a hallmark of Kristen Nuss. And I don't know how many defenders we have in this chat and on this Zoom. But if the more Nina Brunner film you can watch, the more Kristen Nuss film you can watch. Sinja Tillman of Germany is also a great one to watch because they're all just so balanced and they trust their speed and they trust their blockers and they trust their defense and they just trust the fact that if the offense makes a mistake, they're going to be able to get to the play by not cheating. Because a lot of times we're so tempted to just run to a high line or run to a cut shot, and then the offense can make a really sloppy shot and get away with it because we're just guessing. But Nina almost never does that, and that's why she's one of the best in the world. I love it. Anybody else want to weigh in before we get into set number 2? All right. I don't see any unmutes. Natalie, Meg, Christy, I appreciate you guys. Into set number two. Did anybody watch this match during the Olympics, by the way?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's fun to kind of rewatch it and sort of take a flashlight to it and inspect it for what happened. Now I know that the US kind of has a meltdown in the second set. I haven't rewatched this since, so I'm interested to see what happens. All right, set number two. Surprise, surprise. What are we doing, Christy? We're not fixing anything. Angle middle. It's working. Right back to Kelly's seam, another ace, and Meg again. Let's notice the depth. This one's hitting back line. Kelly's been struggling with it. Ace serve for Switzerland. That's ace number 6. 1 point into the second set. Another angle to middle. Better handled from Kelly. And this is the disruption that we saw from the United States, right? Where Nina's starting in the angle. Again, super balanced, not leaning one way or the other. And Tanja has a little step into the line. She's going angle. And if Kelly doesn't hit a perfect shot here, Nina's all over it. Where, I mean, she's tagging the line there. And the Todd Rogers School of Wisdom. So he won a gold medal in 2008. And he said, anything that's within a foot of a line, good job. Great job for the offense. I'll give you that. Our job as defenders is to take away the mistakes. So anything basically within 2 feet of the line and worse, those are the ones we pick up. And so anything less than perfect, Nina is all over. So that's a really nice shot from Kelly and a nice job by the defense taking anything but perfect. Sticking on Tanja. So both blockers getting a lot of service pressure. Tanja, another high swing. And so the United States, they just haven't really adjusted their defense, right? They haven't really tried. They've only given Nina one serve, and Tanya's been in kind of a rhythm, and they keep running these late angle blocks. And it hasn't worked on Tanja really since the technical timeout. And so Tanya's in a nice rhythm of just staying high and swinging deep. And again, we see this angle setup. So Kelly set up in the line, jumping late in the angle, Sara in the angle, moving late line, and Tanya's kind of figured it out. And so I think it's kind of past due for the United States to make a defensive adjustment. And again, here's Tanja, Christie. Hasn't changed anything. High deep swings, that's what working. Sticking with it. So slight change in service strategy here for Switzerland. Now we're starting in the middle and going at Kelly's line. And I mean, really was serving deep middle. Watch this float. This is nasty. That goes, that moves about 4 feet left. And then Kelly makes the right swing, just sends it long. So the United States already under pressure. High deep at that left shoulder. Again, if you guys have to choose something, if you're at a loss at the service line, high deep left shoulder. It's going to get you an out of system pass a lot. Watch the handwork here from Tanja as well. So we call this a windshield wiper move, where she starts outside the body here to the right, and she will wipe them back this way to try to get the block away from Sara. Watch that windshield wipe. Sara, awesome cover. And again, Nina, watch how still she is. She looks bored back here. Just give her a cup of coffee, hanging out, makes it look easy. Another cover, super important. And then Tanja, Christy, this is what happens when we get bored. What's been working? High deep swings. And then she gets bored, tries a little baby line shot that Sara was going to dig anyway because the US is running that same exact late angle block. And so Tanja gets a little bit bored. Good high level rally though.
When should you know to like start changing things up?
When they start to as a defense or an offense?
Um, Maybe both, either one.
I think as an offense, I would start changing things up as soon as if they stop working. But
Mhm.
if I'm swinging high and deep and they haven't stopped me, I'm not going to change. I'm just going to keep doing that until they prove that they can take it away. If I'm hitting high lines and they can't dig them, then I'm just going to hit high lines until because I don't get bored scoring points. I think scoring points is really fun. As a defense, I would probably start changing things up if they side out 3 or 4 times in a row. I would probably start trying different things. I'd be moving the serve around a little bit.
Hmm.
I'd be like, all right, she's figured out this angle to seam serve, or she's figured out this short serve. Let's try changing up the depth of serve. Let's try changing up what shoulder we're serving. Let's try serving a different player. Let's go line to line. Let's go middle, middle. Let's go middle, short, middle, angle to angle, short. And so there, as a defense, you have so many options of how to
Hmm.
switch it up. And then as an offense, I would only switch as if they have clearly picked up on a tendency and they're taking it away, then I'm going to try something else. Good question.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question. And so the US, now this one is a puzzler to me. And so they just got that error on Tanja, right? Finally got a point on her. And then Kelly served Nina. And that's a strange move to me. They might get this anyway. They don't. But I think, and so I commentate for Volleyball TV, and I get exasperated a lot when teams do this. When you get a point on one player and then you switch serving to the other player, it blows my mind. I don't know why it happens so much, but they just get an error on Tanja. I'm putting that ball right back in her lap and making her adjust and recover from it. And if she sides out, then it is what it is. But if I were Kelly and Sara, I'd be wondering, why did I serve the person who's played a borderline perfect Olympics and has played a perfect match so far? So I think that was a bad move from Kelly to switch the serve from Tanja to Nina there, especially after getting that error on Tanja. Nice chop there from Kelly. And this is one of the ways to beat this delayed angle block. And a lot of teams that you guys will play, a delay angle block is going to be very effective because the two most common shots in beach volleyball are an angle swing and a high line. And one of the best antidotes to that is a fast angle chop. And so Nina, again, perfectly still, waiting and waiting and waiting. And so she's baiting that high line. What Kelly does is she speeds it up and hits this really nice, fast chop. It's not a full swing. And I'm really good friends with Kelly and Sara's coach, Jordan Cheng. And we call these shots darts. And so they're not full swings. You're just throwing little darts in there. And so it's not like a full on fastball. You're just trying to hit a nice kind of 70% snap chop into a spot, and that's untouchable from Kelly. I think Kelly is probably the best dart or chop player in the world. And so once she starts hitting those, she is really good. I like that serve from Sara. Again, Nina is just baiting them. That is so much line she's giving up, and she almost got burned on one earlier, just baiting that line. Sara goes for it. I like the serve. I like how much area Nina is taking in serve receive because Tanja is getting so much heat. Again, angle to deep middle. I think the miss is totally worth it. They've gotten a ton of points on that. So at Florida State, the girls that I work with, whenever we're working on serving, I give bonus points for any triple aces. Because I think John Mayer, he's the coach at Loyola Marymount. He has a concept called 3 point serving. So is it fast? Is it flat? Meaning, can it go over on a flat line across the net? And does it float? And what we see here from Kelly is it is fast. It's flat enough to hit the tape, and it puts Tanja in a lot of trouble. And so I think you guys can take that and you can practice serving anywhere. Even on a snow day, you can just go find a wall and try to practice that hitting a nice, really fast, flat float just over the tape. And what we did at practice one day, actually, we took a string and tied it from this white all the way across to this white. And so you had to serve the ball in between the net and that white. And so that really worked on that fast, flat floating action. And you're going to get a ton of triple aces and you're going to get people in a lot of trouble the faster and flatter you hit your floats. I really like this from Tanja. So, one of the things that you are trying to do as a serving team, when you serve someone to their sideline, you want them to stay there, right? And so Tanja knows that, right? Because that's how they started this match. They served her line to line, they pinched her into the angle, they ran that delayed block, and they picked up a high line. Well, now Tanja says, all right, you want me here. I'm going to run here and mess up everything you're trying to do. Kelly tries that delay pull into the line. This time it's a bad read. Tanja says, "Thank you for the open net. I'll have that." So that's a really nice serve from Kelly and a really nice counter play from Switzerland to take what the United States was trying to do and then flipping it, and now they're back in control. Again, angle to middle, deep, not changing it because it's working. Kelly airmails that one long. Angle middle, deep. Nice windshield wipe from Tanja. Blockers in the house. Watch your hands. They go way outside this way. They'll wipe it back. Nina, again, the picture of balance. Able to make this move. Nice pickup. Tanja, good job sending it deep. Again, Nina super balanced. Now she's picking up a cut shot. Now she's transitioning. I don't know if you guys have much experience watching Nina Brunner, but please watch as much as you can. She's so good. So we just watched her dig a high line from this exact position. And now because she's so balanced, she's able to pick up a really nice baby cut shot, pops up, perfect high line. Excellent play from Nina. Again, angle middle. I have that one as inbounds. Does this not hit the line? I mean, that's got to be Switzerland's point. Wow. So that goes to the US. Love that serve. And now Nina's finally getting tested in serve receive. And she chops that one out. I love this swing. So Kelly is baiting this exact swing. So she gives up low line. That's what I'm giving up. Let's bait you into it. Nina, I really like that swing. That's that dart. Misses it wide. And so I like this. So, Christy, this is what kind of an answer to your question of when do we switch? So Tanja had gotten back into a rhythm. Like, you know what? We've only tried Nina in serve receive one time. Let's give it a go. And they get an error. And now the question for Kelly and Sara is, do you let Nina get in a rhythm and you go back to her, or do you switch back to Tanja now that she's out of a rhythm a little bit? And I would expect that they would stick with Nina just because Tanja, it hasn't worked. They lost the first set 21-18. They were down 8-4 in this one. So my guess is they go to Nina. They give it back to Tanja. Again, high, deep, middle. Both teams using that. Tanja, high, deep angle swing. Not changing it because it's working. Awesome swing from Kelly. So now Kelly's kind of taking a page out of Tanya's book, right? Where Nina has dug a ton of shots. Any shot that has been hit, Nina has been all over in this. And so Kelly says, all right, well, let's try to see what Tanya's given us. High, deep angle swing. One of the drills we do at Florida State is we will draw a line kind of in this back meter all the way across. And the only place you can score is in that back meter. And because when you can hit it that deep, it generally means that you're staying high, as Kelly does here. So look at that point of contact. I mean, she's a good 2.5 feet over the net. And so you're out of the range of the blocker. And if you hit it that deep, even a defender as good as Nina Brunner isn't going to get a touch on that. So sticking on Nina now, they got a point on her last time they served her. And that is another error on Nina Brunner. So the last two times she has been served, and Nina actually kind of crosses up Sara. Watch, so Sara is kind of cheating into that high line. She's got that shuffle, thinking high line's coming. And one of the things that makes Nina so good is she makes everything look the same. So this could very well be a high line up until here, and then that last second wrist snap angle and misses it by about an inch. So the last two serves Nina's gotten, she's hit errors, and now I would expect the full shift to be on. So Nina's going to be the target for at least through the technical timeout, probably further. So back to Nina they go. Great feet to ball. Nice high deep seam swing. Again, high deep meter swings. When if you're ever in doubt, if you're ever in a rut on offense, just swing nice and high and deep into that deep meter, and you're going to be able to get yourself out of jail pretty quick, as Nina does right there. And again, here's this chop from Kelly, not a full swing, just a little wrist snap chop, dart into the line. She's 2 for 2 on those. And you can see Tanya's reaction. And so she's saying, I got to get further because this is the swing that she wanted. So she's starting in the angle, jumping into the line. And as a defense, when you're running that, this is called a three. So you're baiting two different swings and shots. You're baiting a low line swing, which Kelly hits, and you're baiting a cut shot, which Nina is looking for right here. And so Tanja gets the swing that she wanted, and if she drops that right, she might get it. I personally think that that swing's probably going to beat most blockers, even if Tanja makes a perfect move. But you can see Tanya's reaction where she's saying that she's got to move that right hand further over, which is correct, but I still think that's just a better shot from Kelly. Again, going at Nina's line, that's where they've had success. I don't know how Tanja doesn't get blocked here. A standing poke that she gets around Kelly. That's tough. Kelly, do you want to say something? All right, saw you're unmuted for a second. All right, so back to the middle on Kelly. And now look, so this is the chess match of beach volleyball, right? So Kelly's hit that little low line chop a couple times. Now Tanja wants to make sure she's taken that away. So what does that leave open if blocker's really focusing on low line? The low seam. And that as a blocker is the last thing you want to give up is low seam because that makes the defender's job so difficult. Really nice job from Kelly. Nice adjustment by her offensively. And a good comeback from the US. Remember, they were down 4-8 and they bring it all the way back to 10-11 at the technical timeout. Again, pressure stays on Nina. No surprise. Excellent balance from Sara. So she's been kind of uninvolved, right? And she hasn't gotten a ton of action on defense. Switzerland's done a nice job there. Has only received, I think, two serves the whole time. Now she does something slightly disruptive where she's hanging, watch that little mini shuffle into the seam. Then she's going to have like a little mini hop back into the angle. And what's important is that while she's moving a lot back there and being disruptive, she also gets balanced. So watch, she's balanced at the point of contact. Perfect. Dig. Kelly, awesome option. And again, watch where Sara's going. So she's coming in for this stack. Now Tanja, she's got to figure out do I honor Kelly's option or do I stick with Sara? She goes with Sara. Kelly, perfect option, perfect play from the US. And that's an awesome, what is that, a 7-3 run for the US to tie it up. Back to Nina, as they should. She's in a rut. Awesome dig from Sara. And we're talking a lot about balance. Sara, again, super balanced. Goes, watch how low to the ground she gets this. She's so low to the ground. And what that gives you is you can pass the bottom of the ball and lift it. And that lifts it for Kelly to try to get that option. And Nina doing Nina things somehow makes a play. Sara, again, perfect balance. And I love how calm Nina is here. So she slows it down. A lot of times when you have plays like this, where it's back and forth, we start to speed up. Nina does the right thing where she passes and watch, she just waits and waits and slows it down, gives herself a nice elongated approach. Everything's right in front, makes a smart shot. And that is a crucial rally to win. So in those stressful rallies where the game starts to speed up, we want to slow everything back down. And that's exactly what Nina does. So now we're going at Sara. Nice job getting her out of rhythm. That's a phenomenal set from Kelly. And Sara does a nice job. Watch Sara's feet. So she comes in, helps out her partner, and then big step close out to the right. Perfect line shot there from Sara. Really nice save from the US. And that is a nasty float serve. Watch how much this one drops. This goes elevator straight down. The United States first lead, maybe the whole match, really. This second set for sure. And Kelly again, beautiful chop down the line. They haven't stopped it yet, and so she's not switching. And so now, I mean, they were down 4-8, so that's a 10-4 run for the US. Sticking on Nina, a little bit out of sorts. Sets a little bit tight, somehow makes this work. Really nice shot. I think for female players having a lot of different poke varieties is critical. And Nina here has a sort of hook poke shot into the cut. That's a really nice save. I think if the US gets that point, they win this set, no question. But instead of 15-12, it's 14-13. And would you look at that angle to deep middle? Another ace. Ace number 7. Service pressure can bring you back in any offensive rut. Kelly, another really high angle swing, perfectly done. Really nice balance there from Sara. Now watch how Nina approaches here as well. So she passes, and look how deep she is. So she passes. I mean, she's approaching from 18 feet off the net, and that allows her to get her feet to the ball. Step closes in a little bit, and Sara perfectly balanced, waits for the shot. Excellent job running it down. And now Switzerland, watch Tanja now. Tanja's this one. Watch her kick all the way out. So she goes all the way out to the 2 while Nina's passing from like the 4.5 area. Nina, nice lift. And Christy, here's that stack. So Nina was coming in for the cover. Nice dig from Sara. And this is where the plays get a little bit out of control. So this is what the United States is doing that Switzerland didn't do on the previous play that was getting a little wild. Is the United States is getting a little bit hurried. Right, so you have Kelly with a little tomahawk set, and then here, so Kelly has she spreads out the play, and Sara instead, I think the wiser play here is just to set Kelly and slow things down, and instead she takes a really ill-advised off-balance option and hits it right back into Nina's lap. And now she slows it down. She's in system and she hits a really smart shot. So that's 2 rallies now that the United States had in their hands that they gave right back to Switzerland. That Switzerland won because they stayed super calm. Another really nice dropper from Nina. Perfect cut shot to beat that defense from Sara. That's kind of her patented one. And that's kind of unlucky from the United States. I think Kelly goes a little bit early here, but either way, she would have been in a position to make a play had it not hit the tape. And sometimes you catch good breaks, and that's a good break for Switzerland. Again, angle to middle on Kel. Again, line chop, but this time, so here's the counterattack from Switzerland. So Nina's seen this line chop 3 times now, and Kelly's 3 for 3. And so what she's going to do, her adjustment is on this play. So Tanja's going to jump into the line and then jump back into the angle. Nina's going to hold here, and what she's going to do is she's going to get there quicker because she's not baiting the high line anymore. She's baiting that low line chop that Kelly's been hitting. And watch how fast she gets there. She makes that big move, unbelievable dig, and then able to punch it through the block of Kelly. And that's what makes Nina so good. And I mentioned how good of a job Sara did digging the ball low to the ground. Watch how low Nina is there. So she's able to get that low past the bottom of the ball, and that gives the air time enough for Tanja to make a really nice run through set. Great lift, gives Nina time to get there. Another critical play from Switzerland. Kelly, high deep seam, good bailout shot for everyone. Nina again, super calm. Great dig from Sara. Watch the platform here. Again, watch the disruptive move from Sara. That's what I want you guys to watch in defense. So she's here, shuffles into the seam. Maybe she's going high line and then shuffles back, is balanced, is able to make that move into the angle. She doesn't get the dig, but she still makes Switzerland earn it. They don't have a first ball side out. Nina, again, plays a little bit out of control. What does she do? Slows it back down. Backs up, calm approach, perfect chop into the angle. So again, I mean, how many of these long rallies has Switzerland run? I mean, pretty much every one of them in this second set. This really, if had Switzerland not won all these, we'd already be in the third set, but they've just kind of grinded out these long rallies. And wouldn't you know it, another angle seam, and that is ace number 8 for Switzerland. And this is a really good example of what the threat of the on two. So Kelly's barely even option in this, but her reputation as being one of the best option players in the world is what freezes Tanja. So watch Kelly. She's going to kick out all the way. And look at Tanja. So she has to stay there with Kelly for the option. Now Sara's going to run out to like, kind of like a 4.5 area set, and she gets basically an open net and still hits it into a double angle. So watch now. Tanya's going to be in the angle. Nina's still kind of hanging out deep seam. Big cover, excellent option. Watch how Kelly opens up. So we've only seen Kelly option in transition, and she is 3 for 3 on this. Nice pass from Nina. Perfect timing on this move from Sara. Again, we've seen them run this play a lot on Tanja, where they set up in the line, dive angle, set up in the angle, sprint line. Nina hasn't really seen it a bunch yet, and so that's what is able to allow this play to work. And then Kelly. So a lot of times at Florida State, we'll do sort of warm-up drills where we do opposite-handed stuff. And a lot of the girls will think, well, it's just fun. It's kind of goofy. I'll never use it. Kelly Cheng gets so many opposite-handed kills on plays like this where I think it's actually super important to be capable with your left, or if you're left-handed, to be capable with your right, just for plays like that. Nina, really nice chop. Now we have match point Switzerland, and they're going right back to the well. Angle, deep middle. Kelly, a little bit out of system. Again, windshield wiper move. I actually really like this shot from Kelly, but Tanja is just one of the best blockers in the world. That's a nice high swing. And Kelly, it's kind of that no-look line chop that's worked out. I really like that swing from Kelly. It's just a really nice play from Tanja. And then this play from Nina, she lifts it, puts it on top of the net, and then Tanja just pokes it down for the win. So I think if you guys are looking for great examples of defensive teams to watch, you can do no better than Nina Brunner and Tanja-Huberli, especially if you're a defender and you want to learn how to play defense. Just watch Nina Brunner, watch Kristen Nuss, watch Duda, watch Sinja Tillman of Germany, and you're going to learn so much, especially when you break down a match like this. Sara Hughes, also a great example.